Ever since I was young, I've been fascinated by all things trains. But most importantly, their destinations and the lives they affect. Join me, Drew Sagona, on a Railhead's ultimate bucket list as we follow the tracks to a host of wonderful destinations. From big trains to small trains, from small towns to large cities. Hop on board for all the adventures right here on Drewski's Trains and Travels. Howdy guys, and welcome back to Drewski's Trains and Travels. Thanks so much for joining us on today's adventure. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our future adventures. You know, one of the most thrilling things that you can ever do as a rail fan or even just a train lover is pacing a train. Now, some of you might wonder, well, you know, what exactly is train pacing? Well, in today's video, we're going to take a look at just that. This is a roller coaster ride of not only emotions, but just train action at its finest. So let's take a look and see what we got for our first time ever pacing a train. Check it out. Our first time train pacing started off just outside Milano on the Austin Subdivision. We had just come into town when we caught an awesome mix of engines on a mixed freight heading towards Valley Junction. Unfortunately, because of the trees and other terrain between Milano and Gause, our pacing was rudely interrupted for about 5 minutes. Not too far out of Gause, we finally managed to get a glimpse of our train again, and some open country started to appear. Perfect for pacing. Right at that time, the engineer noticed that we were pacing him, and this was when our chase really began. Listen as he throttles up to put on a show for us. Panning right, we get a clear view of the other engines in trail, including a BNSF ES44C4 and a Union Pacific SD70M, SD40-2, and a GP60N. The last two engines have now been assigned to yard work and are being transported by this freight to their next assignment or for maintenance. It's not uncommon on Union Pacific to see locomotives like this dead in tow on a manifest freight train. This is how Union Pacific gets most of their locomotives that are used for yard operations from one place to the other by transporting them on mainline freights. The locomotive leading our train today is a Union Pacific SD70 ACE. The SD standing for standard diesel and the ACE standing for AC traction. Built by Electromotive Division in 2005, these diesels have become a standard of most railroads in the United States. Capable of reaching speeds of 70 miles per hour and with a pulling power of 4,300 horsepower, these giants have become the main workhorse of railroads across the globe, including the US, North Africa, and even Australia. If you look on the American flag, you'll notice two white spots in the center of the stars. These white spots are where the flag has started to melt from the side of the engine. The paint used on this particular flag, combined with the heat from the diesel motor, unfortunately turned most of these flag designs into a peeled white outline. After much feedback from rail fans on this defect, Union Pacific corrected this by moving the American flag onto the nose of the locomotive in their new 2022 paint scheme to avoid ruining this patriotic design. One of the coolest things about pacing is that it can make it seem like you are going much faster than you really are. Trees, houses, and even mailboxes just seem to fly past the window, adding to the thrill. The whole goal of pacing a train is to try to keep in sync with the lead engine. This requires teamwork between the driver and videographer in order to get the best footage possible. My brother David was quite talented at this, which made it very easy for me to get the best shots. So rule number 1 when train pacing, always get yourself a good driver. Fun fact, the Union Pacific wing logo on the nose of the engine came from the streamlined passenger trains of the UP during the 1960s. The wing logo was brought back in the early 2000s to make the UP shield stand out more from the rest of the design, and gives a nice nod to UP's early days of passenger railroading. Notice the major road grime and fuel stains on the engine fuel tank. Road grime buildup is very common on locomotives, and even the newest engines don't stay clean for very long. In my time train watching, I've only ever seen a handful of brand new locomotives that were shiny and clean. Gaining some distance from the rails for a few seconds, we get a panoramic view of the Texas countryside and our train as we make our way into the community of Gause. We hope you've enjoyed this look at our first train pace. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment below, and subscribe to the channel for more train traveling adventures. As always, my name is Drew, and this is Drewski's Trains and Travels. And we'll see y'all down the tracks.
My arms. Okay.